tenemos necesidad, pero a veces no por quedarnos callados, posiblemente pierdamos hasta la vida, como le pasó a nuestro compañero. Entonces, yo creo que es posible de que nos traten mejor. Somos carne de cañón prácticamente los H2A.
We've had to go above and beyond to keep these people safe. I mean, end of the day, these people are our family and they work with us and for us, and we have to take care of them. It's our responsibility.
While farms adapt to coronavirus safety measures in the fields, foreign farm workers are often returning to crowded housing where outbreaks have already spread. What is the agricultural industry doing to protect its guest farm workers? According to local news reports, outbreaks have torn through guest worker housing across the country, infecting more than 500 farm workers and killing at least 6. One outbreak was here at this converted motel owned by Alco Harvesting in Santa Maria, California, where roughly 250 farm workers live. In July, 104 workers were infected here, and one later died, according to county health officials.
Oías el COVID y tú luego pensabas en la muerte, ¿verdad? Pero no caer en pánico y estuve haciendo lo que me dijeron, me aislé, estuve lavándome las manos seguido, cosas así, mantener mi tapabocas.
Current Alco workers like Luis Sanchez say they were scared, but they say Alco did everything it could to control the outbreak. Sanchez was infected, though he says he didn't have any symptoms. But Jesus Guzman, a former worker with Alco, was more critical of the company's safety measures.
Que la compañía no estaba preparada para algo así. No tenía protocolos de salud, no tenía protocolos de emergencia. El personal no estaba capacitado.
Guzman says he was living in a room like this with 5 other workers when the outbreak began. As the disease spread, Guzman says Alco withheld details about who was sick and how they were being cared for.
No había un protocolo que dijera, salió un enfermo de una habitación, lo único que hacían era llevarse a ese enfermo. Entonces el virus nunca acababa, nunca cortabas de tajo el virus.
He says he was fired when he asked for time off to quarantine after getting a test on his own, and later tested positive.
The PPEs, the social distancing, the amount of time and energy we had to spend to make sure everyone was safe it took a lot, and we're still learning.
Alco's general manager, Jeremy McKinsey, said that the company's safety protocols, like mandated masks, social distancing, and disinfecting, worked to contain the outbreak.
The people we spoke to said that there wasn't available testing and that some workers were even retaliated against when they said that the outbreak was larger than what you were saying publicly. I'd really like you to respond to that.
Yeah, I mean, testing was tough for everybody. We were getting people in as soon as we could. Retaliation is something we don't do, so that's is not a true statement. We take care of our employees and look out for their best interests at all times.
In a written statement, McKinsey added, "Despite much effort, we have felt the deep sadness of losing an employee, and our hearts go out to all the families who have lost a loved one during this pandemic." Most of the farm workers living at the Alco Motel were from Mexico, working through a growing program called H2A. H2A employers like Alco tend to fill local motels that they own or rent with workers. H2A rules require only 50 square feet of sleeping space for each worker, a requirement that hasn't been revised during the pandemic. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommend keeping 6 feet apart from people, but because the workers all travel and work together, social distancing can be more challenging.
Yo como empleado, yo no estoy pidiendo que me regalen el dinero. Yo como empleado simplemente pido seguridad. Y si eso no me lo puede ofrecer la empresa, entonces, ¿qué hago?
Guzman says Alco let him go, even though he was entitled to sick leave and wanted to return to work. He recently filed a complaint against Alco for labor code violations. Alco told the Wall Street Journal that, quote, "The company has only ever terminated a worker's employment for actionable reasons allowed by law." Hazel Davalos, a local farm worker advocate, says Guzman's story was one she heard a lot about the outbreak at Alco's motel.
We've been shared countless stories from workers around when they've asked for temperature checks and screenings. They've been told, if you don't like it, you can leave. That sort of attitude. We learned after the Alco harvesting outbreak that resulted in over 90 workers infected with COVID that many of those workers were told, go back to work if you're not showing symptoms.
Research shows farm workers have been hit especially hard by COVID-19. Purdue University researchers estimate that more than 185,000 farm workers have contracted the virus. The agricultural industry says it's been adapting to the pandemic as quickly as it can. The Grower Shipper Association of Central California started offering quarantine housing for farm workers. Several states have passed orders requiring farm workers to be tested. And Santa Barbara County in California, where Alco is based, recently passed an ordinance requiring that guest workers be tested daily for symptoms, self-quarantine if exposed, and that employers report all positive cases to the health department.
During the pandemic, just seeing a simple policy that says, workers need to be tested upon arrival to the country and tested regularly, need to be transported in small bubbles. I mean, those same sort of health orders that we've seen locally, seeing those nationally, I think would be effective.
The Occupational Safety and Health Administration is currently investigating the Alco worker's death. Alco says they had already implemented the safety measures now required locally, and that they've updated their protocol since the outbreak.
We temperature check everybody every morning, hand sanitizer before you get on the bus, at breaks, at lunch. It's readily available everywhere. We hand out mini hand sanitizers for all their pockets, masks for everybody. Our protocols have changed dramatically.
Que no porque venimos de abajo o vengamos por necesidad, debemos de agachar la cabeza o decir prácticamente ser unos esclavos. Yo creo que todos nos deben de tratar con la humanidad y con la dignidad como personas y no por ello debemos de agachar la cabeza.